Hello everyone. Um, well, here's the engine. As you can see, I have the crankshaft out. Now, whenever you pull the crank, you want to make sure and take your liners, stick them in a plastic bag with the cap that they were with. So you'll have both the liner bearing that's in the cap and the liner bearing that's in the block. Put those both together in a bag if you're going to be reusing your bearings. It's still a good idea to do if maybe you forgot which bearing went, like top versus bottom or whatever, you have a reference then later on in your build. But as you can see, I have the crank out, and right down here, those are the cam bearings. I pulled those out. Now before you do those, you have to pull out your rear freeze plugs here. Here's the large one. I used a screw and I used that adjustable wrench down there to kind of pop this one out. This is the smaller one. I tried the screw trick on this, but it didn't work. I ended up just beating it through with a screwdriver and hammer, like I did with the 3 freeze plugs on the side of the block. And this is just a regular old plug. Just remove that with an Allen wrench. But you have to remove all or at least this one, to get all these out. Now, something to pay attention to with these cam bearings. These cam bearings are a little different. I know, I believe Pontiacs, all the bearings are the same. Chevys, I think, are different. But these Oldsmobiles, what I did was I laid them out in order how they came out. That one in the very rear being the one that came out of the rear of the block, and the one in the front being the one that came out of the very front of the block. Now, as you can see, I'm going to take the very front and the very rear, and these all vary in size, just very slightly. See, this one's the front, and here's the rear. Now, you can take the rear one and actually kind of set it in. See how there's a gap? So just something definitely to note while you're doing this. But the way I did it was easiest to remove these. I used this new cam bearing tool I just bought. The last one I had was just kind of a universal one, and it wouldn't fit these bearings. So I'm just going to show you the tool. I believe this is a Lisle. Here's the main part. The way you assemble this, see that threaded part right there? What you do is you take your cone, your nylon cone, just slip it over. Next, you take the head and the appropriate size drive washer. Now there's a small one and a large. This one's the large one. And you just slip it on these threads on the back here. Now what I find easy to do is just coat this rubber with some kind of light oil. I think I used 3-in-1 electric motor oil. That's just what I had laying around. And then the appropriate sized expander. There's a full set of these that come with it. All you do, take your headpiece, screw it on there, just till it kind of snugs a little. Yeah, that's good. Now you want to pay attention to, see this little slot here? There's one here, there's 4 of them. And all you really want to do is take these slots, match them up with the slots on the tool. Just like that. That's how you assemble this. Now the way I removed these bearings, since the rear one was the smallest, what I did was I just ended up taking this head, removing it like this, and I started at the front. I just dropped the head in like this, just kind of set it in the bearing. Came over the front like that. Put my head to my rod, knocked the rear one out, and then I removed the head from the rod here, and then I just came from the back here, and since the smaller ones were in the rear and they got larger as they went through, I just went ahead after I did my rear one back here in the first, just put the head on, and then just stuck it through and did them all in order, and I was able to keep the head on because I was doing the smaller ones and the larger ones as it went on, you know, so I didn't have to remove the head for each bearing. So that's pretty much all you do. All you really do is whenever you have this on your bearing, whenever you go to stick it in, you just turn this on the top here. See how it kind of expands to, oop, that was on there a little crooked. See how it just kind of expands to fit the bearing? It'll start expanding, and then the edge of this driver will contact the edge of your bearing and you can drive it out. But I did it off camera, but I will be doing the cam bearing install on camera. My lighting is kind of bad right now. But yeah, I got them all out. Now this is ready to be hot tanked and bored out. It's completely stripped down, and I'll probably be loading it up in the truck tomorrow and taking it out there. And in the meantime, while this is having the hot tank and board work being done, I will probably disassemble the cylinder heads and show you how to rebuild a cylinder head. But that's pretty much where I'm at for right now. It'll be really interesting to see this thing go back together soon. And, I'm pretty excited. All right, thanks for watching.